Alright, let's get this started. I don't know how long this is going to be, so I'll try and... Alright. So, 2002 was never a good year for Jane Richardson. Losing both of her parents to Jeff the Killer. Alright, we're starting this off quick. Tackling a job at IHOP as a waitress, with barely enough money to get by on. Okay, yeah. Being both mother and father... I feel like you don't need to specify both mother and father. Then I'll have different roles. But being both a mother and father to her little sister Jessie, who was 13 years old during that time. Jane's aunt, Samantha Engel, graciously helped out her nieces as far as money is concerned. So it wasn't a total loss for Jane. After all, Samantha was who's Paula? Is Paula her mom? Paula's sister, and after her death, Samantha felt it was right to take care of its sister's daughters. Okay. Just say nieces, man. One day while Jane was working her usual shift at IHOP, and on her break, she came across an ad in the newspaper sponsored by her local blood bank. In the ad, it said it's the person to be paid, hold on, $150 for their distribution. But they had to have a really healthy blood type in order to qualify. For just giving blood, was this too good to be true? Jane thought it was good to take that money and pay off her month's rent. After all, she did have clean blood. Without hesitation, Jane wrote down the address of the local blood bank down, plus the phone number, finished off her orange juice and went back to work. Another waitress. Alexis was covering for Jane and recognized her mood was more optimistic and a feel more pleasant than usual, refilling other customers' drinks. I feel like you don't need to specify that either. Well, someone is really happy today, Alexis said. What would not be? I found an easy way to pay off my month's rent, Jane replied, pouring a fresh cup of coffee for the random man. Thanks, the man said. Oh yeah? What? Alexis said. The blood bank is offering $150 for anybody giving blood. You had to have healthy blood, it said. Jane said, okay. Whoa, I never heard of that, Janie. Usually they pay you $25. Alexis replied, refilling a customer's soda. Somehow they must have made a few changes, Jane said, chuckling. You gonna swing by? Alexis asked. After I leave here tonight. Jane and her friend. I forgot the narration voice already. Jane and her friend worked through the night until the atmosphere of this IHOP was calm and laid back and less rushed. The lights of the shopping center where the restaurant shined through the windows. Random cars on the highway passed by in the distance. Motorists who were looking for a bite to eat, getting off of work, or going home set the mood for this particularly lazy California night. KTLA News 5 was giving a report of the LAPD still pursuing Jeffrey Woods, aka Jeff the Killer, the one responsible for the murder of Jane the Killer's parents, because we needed to know that again. The police commissioner said they would have a hard time catching the suspect and had to enlist the aid of the FBI, CIA, and Department of Justice. That is a 13-year-old boy. You do not need to get all those people. It would make Jane feel better not only to have Jeff captured, but wiped off the face of the earth entirely. One of the customers at the IHOP that Jane noticed was a man in his late 40s with short brown hair, a goatee, as in goat-E, sunglasses, and wearing a three-piece black suit and tie, crisply pressed. He looked like Walter White with hair! Okay, I guess. Another distinguishing feature about this man was he had a Bluetooth earpiece hanging on his left lobe. He browsed through the menu and surveyed the employees. He paid close attention to Jane as she was a famous person. Hello, sir, what can I get you tonight? Jane asked, smiling. G-bones, steak, and eggs. The man said, How do you want your steak? Well done. Eggs over easy. Well done over easy. Oh, I just wanted to let you know we have a new pomegranate pancake syrup, something I happen to make in my free time. Jane replied, taking the man's order. That can't be food safe, right? There's no way that just a waitress making something. Whatever. Okay. Whoa, that sounds like a winner. You made... Actually, that's the wrong voice. Wow, that sounds like a winner. You made the syrup? The man asked. Well, yes, Jane said cheerfully. You got a lot of talent, the man said. Jane went back into the kitchen to get the man's food prepared. While he was waiting, he fumbled with a button on her earpiece. We found the perfect woman, sir, the man said, speaking at a low volume. This man is actually an FBI agent Agent Marcus East? Is there like a Marcus West? Is that his brother? Is Marcus South and Marcus North his parents? Was still hunting down Jeff the Killer. Despite the LAPD's futile efforts and Agent East's determination, he was gonna stop at nothing until Jeff was... Despite... I feel like that's the opposite of despite, but okay.
Excellent. Gather the other agents for next week. We know of a way to go after Jeffrey Woods.
Understood. Jane brought out East's meal and a fresh cup of coffee. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're certainly welcome, sir.
Jane replied. An hour later, Jane clocked out and left for the night.
I'll see you tomorrow, Alexis.
Jane said.
See ya, Janie.
Alexis replied. After 30 minutes of being on the road, Jane came across the blood bank. She expected the building to be closed for the night. But all day was open. There must have been a 24-hour deal. The outside of the building looked like total shit. But the interior was pristine and sterile, similar to a doctor's office. Jane approached the receptionist at the desk and announced she was there to give blood. Good evening, ma'am. How can I help you? The receptionist asked in a warm, friendly tone, smiling.
I came across your ad, saying that you would pay anyone $150 for simply giving blood.
Wonderful. What's your name, dear? The receptionist asked.
Jane Richardson.
Okay, Miss Richardson. You go down the hall, second door on your right.
Do I have to sign any papers or anything?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Jane replied, laughing heartily. The receptionist laughed along with Jane. I'll have your cash ready for you when you get done, honey.
Okay.
The receptionist said, smiling. Jane
did in fact have healthy, clean blood.
Zero negative. I'm so good at English.
O negative was her blood type, after what seemed like hours, but it was only a few minutes.
The Jane who extracted Doctor's blood. The doctor who extracted Jane's blood put a bandage over her spot
and wished her a good night.
Out front, the receptionist was going through the files on her computer when she saw Jane.
Man, that needle hurt like hell,
Jane said, chuckling. Your arm is going to feel sore for a day or two.
Tell me about it.
Okay, here's your cash, Miss Richardson. $150.
This will take care of my month's rent,
Jane replied. Behind on your rent, huh?
A lot of stuff that's been going on for me, losing both of my parents and all,
Jane said. Aw, I'm so sorry.
It's just me and my little sister. I have to be with Mom and...
Why do you have to specify that? You don't have to... Okay, bro.
Well, my condolences go out to...
That's the wrong voice. Well, my condolences go out to you and your sister Jane, the receptionist said sympathetically.
Thanks, that means a lot.
You have a wonderful night, sweetie. Stay safe.
You too.
The following morning, Jane was able to pay off her month's rent and wouldn't have to worry about it until the next month. Working the day shift at IHOP, she got a call from the blood bank she visited just the other night. What could it be?
Thank you for calling IHOP. Now serving pomegranate cake, pancake syrup, and our new stuffed French toast. French toast. This is Jane Richardson. How may I help you?
Miss Richardson?
This is she.
This is she. It's an actual line. What am I doing? Okay. My name is Beth Williams, one of the doctors at the Biomedics Blood Bank. We were wondering if you could come over to give another sample of your blood.
Okay.
Jesus. 10 grand? Sorry, spoilers. Jesus, dude. We will pay you, $10,000. Jane went silent for a few seconds. 10 grand for another sample of her blood. Was this for real? Miss Richardson, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. You said, 10,000, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll see you next week.
What's... Oh, okay, I guess. Thank you so much, Miss Richardson. We will see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
How much of this is left? Okay. Alright, this is gonna be... Okay, alright.
It was a beautiful day in the City of Angels. Jane returned to the
Biomedics Blood Bank to distribute her blood and score an easy 10 grand. She wouldn't have to worry about money troubles ever again. Sorry, there's something with her.
But why was Biomedic gonna pay Jane $10,000? She couldn't figure it out herself. But if it meant to put that money into an account and making sure her sister, her and her sister were financially secure, then why not? That's not how English works. Jane saw the same receptionist from last time and still remembered her. The doctor who drew her blood was there as well. When it was all over, Jane claimed her cash, stuffed it into her wallet, and she was on her way. Just as she was about to get into a car, a couple of well-dressed women approached her. One of them flashed a CIA badge and announced, "Jane Richardson." "Yeah, Agent Tanya Margolis, CIA." "What's going on?" Jane asked, very puzzled. "You didn't do anything wrong, Miss Richardson. Don't worry. But I was wondering if you would come with us." "Where at exactly?" "You will see. Come." Oh, that's a different guy. "You will see. Come with us." Without hesitation. All right. Okay. Maybe Jane is a little stupid. All right. Without hesitation, Jane got into the limo with the other agents. Where were they taking her? Why did they choose Jane? Was there any significance? The two of them were taking Jane to the CIA headquarters in Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Oh, okay, alright. They were going to explain everything to her as soon as they arrived. 90 minutes later, the limo arrived outside of the headquarters. Jane noticed there was also a U.S. Marshals and FBI van parked outside. More than one U.S. Marshal. What was this about? Jane couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. No matter how many times she asked the agent, it was always the same. "The information is classified." Jane wanted answers. She wanted to know what was going on. Once inside, Jane was freed by a refreshing cold breeze. Yeah, that's how English works. That seemed to be coming from the central air units. It was the hottest day ever. You didn't even specify that. Jane was led to a room that looked like a police interrogation area. Inside there was another male agent. The Jane sat. That's in the story. "Welcome, Jane. We've been expecting you." I don't like that voice. We're gonna keep it because this guy has no other voice. The agent said. "You mind telling me what the hell is going on?" Jane asked very suspiciously. "Not at all. First off, I just want to say, I'm sorry for the loss of your parents. I know how much you love them. I take it you heard that LAPD has been having a difficult time pursuing your parents' assailants, Jeffrey Woods." "Jeff the killer!" "Exactly. We also got in touch with the FBI, U.S. Department of Justice, and the U.S. Marshals, and they are gonna see. Not even there. Just they are, and they are gonna see to it that Jeff is stopped once and for all." What the hell is this? Okay, but what does this have to do with me? After receiving word of your blood transfer at Biomedics, it is apparent that you are the perfect blood time. Perfect blood time. Oh. Okay. And maybe the key to stopping Jeffrey Woods. "So let me get this straight," Jane said, trying to piece together what the agent said. "After I gave my blood, you and these other agency guys want to use me to stop that son of a bitch, Jeff?" "Yes, ma'am. All you have to do is meet up with our doctors." "Just meet up with the doctors?" Jane asked. "Yes, ma'am," the agent replied. "And then I'm free to go?" "In due time, I promise you." "Well, okay," Jane said hesitantly. She was led into another room. One doctor did an eye scan of her ice blue eyes. After giving her a vision test, reading an eye chart, etc. Dot. The scan of her pretty blue eye, just the one, by the way, she only has the one, was stored into the computer. Next doctor to examine her was a cardiologist. Following a few brief questions such as her date of birth, height, weight, that sort of thing. Jane had her blood pressure checked, which was 120/80, the normal blood pressure for a healthy young lady. I'm gonna fact check that actually. I'm getting my phone out for this. Blood type
type for healthy young lady. I spelled healthy wrong. Blood type. No. Blood pressure. Okay, so the author is just wrong. It's wait. It's 110/68. So Jane is already having blood pressure problems. Very good, the cardiologist said. He checked her heartbeats, asked her to breathe when using his stethoscope. The cardiologist wrote down everything. Next, the general practitioner was to examine Jane, checking her ears, eyes, throat, testing her reflexes, you name it. Jane passed with flying colors. Jane thought that she was going to leave this building with no problem and be on her way. When she was led down a hallway by two guards. She noticed in one of the rooms stretchers lined up with blankets covering the bodies. A total of 25 people, all young women, dead. What was going on here? She started to get freaked out at the sight of the lifeless. We know they're dead. Lifeless women who haven't been supposed to have an access to guard taking her. She stands there, so out of instinct she began to assault it. What the fuck? Why would you just... Okay. Incapacitating one of them. Her fighting skills she learned from Mary's father, Sheriff Nick. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna act like I know who that is. In the midst of the brutal melee, Jane was tackled and she took out like two guys on her own. Okay, I'm just gonna go with it. Jane was tackled and sedated by one of the doctors. Her world began to blur and fade black.
Oh! Where am I?
Jane is coming to. How much of this is left? I'm gonna cry, dude. Okay. She was strapped to a chair, similar to what you see in a dentist's office. Around her, the room looked like an operating theater, bathed in a bright white light that gave the room a clear appearance. Jane couldn't see anybody because all that was in the room with her, facing her, was a two-way mirror. She felt something on her forehead that was similar to a headband, but saw electrodes and wires running from her. Sorry, I had to burp. Her hands and feet were secured in place. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't break free. A few seconds later, she heard an unknown female voice in the intercom. Could have been that. It must have been that of an agent, researcher. You don't need to specify. Dr. Beth. Okay, cool. Miss Richardson, can you hear me? The voice asked, and was sympathetic.
Who's there?
It's me, Dr. Beth Williams from Biomedics. I didn't want you to find out the hard way, but some of these agents and government officials tell me you have a very healthy blood okay, bro. From what I could gather, they were correct. If you were wondering, it was me who sedated you. I did not drag you into the room in which you are in, dear. I assure you, I will be standing by to monitor your vitals for the process.
What are you talking about?
Oh, it's Agent Margolis. Jane, we brought you here because you are the perfect blood type. And also the candidate following the experiment has been funded by the U.S. government, totaling it at $6.9 million. We have received word from the LAPD that they had trouble capturing the suspect responsible for the death of your parents, Ruth and Paula. Okay, they keep like specifying like the FBI, the Department of Justice, the U.S. Marshals. We know this already. Okay. We've received word from the LAPD that they have... Okay. We, along with the FBI, Department of Justice, and the U.S. Marshals, have agreed to help in the capture of Jeffrey Woods. If you haven't noticed, the intravenous... Hold on. One moment. The what's the...
Intravenous.
Oh, well, I don't like how essential that was, but just in case I didn't hear it the first time.
Intravenous. Intravenous.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that. That... In your arm, one of the scientists will bring in the serum to replace with your blood. Serum is classified only to avenge on the ones who took your parents' lives. Okay. How much of this is left? My fucking god. It's a 20-minute recording already. Oh, Lord. Okay. Just then, a scientist and doctor came into the room prepping Jane. The scientist came in with the liquid hate? Okay, I guess that's the name. Okay, whatever, bro. The container was a gallon and a quarter with a biohazard symbol on it. Oh, she's gonna die. The light from overhead casted in the liquid, giving off a pretty glowing purple. The doctor who came in was there to make sure everything was safe and to monitor Jane's safety. He assured her she was nothing to be afraid of, and she was going to be okay afterwards when Jane feels somewhat better. Part of her was scared to death, but the other half showed no fear showed no fear, and she was ready. The doctor put the doctor put the
Intravenous.
needle into Jane's arm. One tube ran into the container that would collect Jane's blood and shipped to the American Red Cross. You don't have to explain this. And shipped to the American Red Cross, her parents are the same blood type as Jane, so to receive a healthy blood transfusion. The other tube was attached to the container holding the liquid hate. So in a way, this was just like an embalming fluid preps. What? Okay, alright. But with an experimental liquid, despite being reassured medical personnel, there's nothing to be afraid of. Single tear ran down her face. Okay. The process began, and Jane heard the voices. The voices that Jane heard, the scientists, the government officials, the FBI, the CIA agents, the U.S. Marshals, the researchers began to sound distant. If something were to happen to her, she would see her deceased parents on the other side of the two-way mirror. What? Oh, okay. Her heart was beating at a steady pace, showing the EKG beeping. The readings of the EEG showing normal brain activity. Jane felt her blood being drained slowly. This didn't bother her at first, but as it began to increase, she felt very weak and drowsy, like she was being smothered by an unknown person with an aether-soaked rag. In the next few minutes, Jane's surroundings began to disappear, first into a state of unconsciousness and weakness from loss of blood in her body, then dead. The heart monitor in the other room flatlined. The EEG went flat. For that moment, Jane was clinically dead. Jane felt a familiar hand on her face. It was her mother, Paula. She opened her eyes, and despite being deceased for over a few minutes, she was still in the room. Her father, Bruce, was there as well.
Mom!
Don't be afraid, Janie. Mommy's here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Paula cooed sweetly. She saw Jane's eyes welling up with tears and held her daughter in her arms, tightly comforting her. Dad! Bruce gave Jane a kiss on her head as he joined in to hold his child as well. Jane was leaving and she was glad to see her parents.
You're gonna be okay, kiddo. You're gonna be just fine.
Bruce said softly, calming his daughter down. He was in full military dress? Okay, bro. Are we gonna get a Sheriff Nick cameo? His medals shining in the light of the room Jane was in. His uniform was crisply pressed, his short hair shiny and pushed back, almost as he was going to attend a military ball.
What is going on?
Jane asked. Well, since those doctors emptied your body... You went out like a light, but me and Daddy are gonna stay here until you come alive, honey. Ew, what's come alive? Okay, bro. Okay. to prep myself for this. The next line, I read ahead. Paul said in her soft-spoken Joyce. Amazing English on my part. Her words soothing Jane's heart. One thing I could never stand about IV needles is that when some can't find a vein to put it in. That happened to me when I was a little kid and I suffered sepsis, and I felt like frickin' Swiss cheese, yo. That old hag couldn't put the needle... Jesus, dude. That old hag couldn't put the needle in right. You should have known having experience as a doctor and a PhD doesn't come with vision. Bruce said, smiling and laughing. This made Jane smile and giggle as well as she laughed with her daddy. I don't know how comfortable I am continuing to read this. She knew for the longest time that her daddy was very silly and made her laugh. Without even trying, and still was a goofball in the afterlife. That's also what Paula loved about her husband. This isn't from Paula's perspective. Ha! Jane's parents stayed with her until liquidate would be what was administered. Your father couldn't stand needles being poked in him at all, honey, but like getting an allergy shot or vaccine that didn't bother him. It was an
Intravenous.
needle that got on his nerves. Even when he was little, he faded at the sight of a big needle. Hey, that thing was big. Okay, alright.
I know I'm gonna feel sore and stiff when I get up.
Considering the chair you're in, I wouldn't be surprised, honey. I think tonight you should take a nice hot bath with some Epsom salts. Oh, God. Bruce said, caressing Jane's hair.
Good idea!
Jane replied, you just remember one thing, my little Janie baby. If you ever need me or Daddy, we'll be right here. Paula said, pointing to Jane's heart.
Oh boy, okay. And it'll come alive in your dreams, sweetheart.
Bruce added, smiling. We are so proud of you. Jane's lucky to have such a... I'm killing myself. Jessie's lucky to have such a sweet sister. We will always be watching over you, love.
We love you, Jane,
said Bruce.
Oh, the purple stuff is about finished,
Paula said, pointing to liquidate that was half empty.
I love you, Mummy. I love you, Daddy.
Jane said, giving her parents a big hug before they returned to heaven. I did the, I show speed smile.
We love you too, Janie.
Paula replied, giving her daughter one final kiss goodbye. Alright. Jane regained consciousness and came to. The EKG roared back to life, showing heart and brain activity. Her vitals appearing normal as her vision adjusted to channels through still in the operating theater. When she looked down, she noticed her hands were now ivory white. She was pale like a corpse. She screamed over the loss of her natural skin pigmentation. Okay, bro, being white cannot be that bad. I'll take your word for it, Jane. And saw that her once bright platinum blonde hair was now coal black. She tried to break free from the restraints, thinking that somehow she would fail. With now increased strength, ripped both of the restraints off and jerked the wires off of her head. She tore the leg restraints away and got up out of the chair. She looked towards the two-way mirror, now with a violent, angry, homicidal rage. Had to specify that. Hard.
What the hell did you do to me?
She is going to experience violent episodes and homicidal tendencies for the first 90 seconds, one of the scientists said to the group. You're full of liquid hate, Miss Richardson. Agent Margolis said,
I look like fucking powder!
Okay. That's because your natural skin color went away, Jane. What is this lore? Okay. Jane... I'm not reading that. I don't want to read that. Okay. Thank you for saving me.
Thank you for making me what I am. I know now what I must do. I must kill Jeffrey Woods. I must kill Jeffrey Woods and end his reign of terror forever. If he is not killed, more lives will be lost. I am much stronger now. I am unstoppable, unkillable. Weapons are useless against me. Anyone who dare crosses me, I will be the last thing they see. I will kill Jeff the Killer, and no one can stop me.
After 90 seconds, Jane's homicidal tendencies ceased and she was acting normal again. The same doctors who were examining her wanted to do x-rays, MRI scans, and final examination on her. Jane stood as naked as the day she was born. Had to specify that, just in case. As the vision didn't see anything normal changes, no defects, she was even more beautiful despite the fact she was pale white with black eyes. Okay, Miss Richardson, now I need to read something right here.
EFPTOZLPEDPEDFCZPFELOPZD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not saying those. Printed by Century City Optometry. Oh. 10250 Santa Monica Boulevard Suite 170 Los Angeles, California. 900 45.
The eye doctor was flabbergasted. Had to use that word. Jane read everything down to the fine print. He took a magnifying glass and saw the company and address on the bottom of the eye test chart. Wow. No way, bro. Okay, bro. What is this joke?
So, Doc, are there any other tests today, or can I just stand and can I walk out of here and bet my way? Well, are you gonna give me another visual test or just stand there and stare at me all day?
I'm just gonna stand here and stare at you all day. The eye doctor said seeing Jane fully naked. Ha! Alright, okay.
So I'll take that as a you are free to go.
Yeah. Thank God, we're finally done with this. Jesus, dude. Jane took her bloodstained clothes in a hospital bag and walked out fully nude, not claiming if people were looking at her. On her On her way home, she saw clothes that were hanging out to dry in a clothesline inside a little suburban home. These clothes matched her frames. There was a pair of black sweatpants, a sleeveless black Under Armour shirt, and a black hoodie. They all smelled sweet as she pulled them off the clothes. I got dressed in broad daylight. The only article of clothing that wasn't bloodstained were her black Skechers sneakers. She slipped on her socks and shoes and called Jessie. Told her she was okay. Jessie waited back at home for her sister to immediately return. Also, Mary was waiting. Who's Mary? Did I specify? Jessie immediately ran into her big sister's arms, gasping emotionally, giving her a big hug. Jessie... Nope, that's not it. Mary hugged both Jessie and Jane and gave her honey bunny a kiss on the lips. Okay. Alright, how am I gonna do this? I gotta think of a voice. You're trying to like... Baby, I'm so glad you're okay. I was so worried, Mary said emotionally. Glad that Jane was alright. We need to have that specified again. I knew you would come back, Jessie said through tears of joy.
Of course I did,
Jane replied, giving her little sister a hug. Still emotional.
Jeff the Killer has some competitions. As with many other criminals out there. Don't go to sleep. You won't wake up. Jane the Killer is coming for you.
I think this is too big to upload on Discord. It's 31 minutes, so I'm going to post this on YouTube instead. And then just watch it there.